Hello and welcome to another episode of Hughes at 10, and it's 10 o'clock. I'm Graham Hughes. Yay! Welcome to my place. So tonight we got David, we got Niall, we got Charlie, we got Attila, we got David again, we got John, Barleycorn, we got Chris, we got Niall again, we got Chris again. Everyone's just having a conversation amongst themselves. Paul Mason, Sugar Free, Johan's here. Hello from Sweden. Hello to Sweden, I should say. Hello from Durham. And Dave saying hello all. So welcome to this is going to be our last week, isn't it? Of this. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get doing other things. I think at 10 o'clock. I've just had to turn off Small Axe. I was watching Small Axe with John Bodea from Star Wars in it. It was really good, but it's got another 20 minutes to go. So I've had to turn it off, and I'll watch it on iPlayer tomorrow. It's fine. It's fine. I'd rather be here. But let's just have a look at some of the messages coming in. People are saying hi. Mikel Arteta out from Niall. I guess he's an Arsenal fan. Don't know, mate. I'm Everton. Who were top of the league this year for a few weeks, and now they're not. And they lost to Leeds. Anyway, so every time Tories come to power, they sell off the family silver, but Boris hasn't yet. So what's new for privatisation, says David? The NHS, the National Health Service. They were going to sell it to Trump, but Trump has been defeated again today. New results came in from the recount in, oh God, was it another one in Pennsylvania or another one in Georgia or another one in Michigan? I can't remember. He just keeps losing. And the brilliant thing is every time there's a recount, he loses by more votes. It's like he loses by a bit more each time. Fantastic. Just like watching someone hit themselves in the face over and over again with a plank of wood. It's quite satisfying knowing that Trump is on his way out. He's circling the drain. I just cannot wait. I know he's going to try and cause as much trouble as he can on the way out, but you know, he's going, and that's the main thing and the thing that we should be focused on. Unless we're American, any Americans watching this, please give money so people can in Georgia can think, oh, I know, I'll vote for the Democrat senators that are, well, the candidates for the Senate that are standing there. Actually, I've just had a good idea. I've just been making my website for my end of year show, which is going to be called the See You Next Tuesday Awards, in which I'm going to be hosting my own prize giving awards ceremony for the biggest See You Next Tuesdays of the year. And I haven't been on for 5 minutes yet, so I can't actually say the word. In fact, I think if I do say the word, then I don't get as much advertising revenue. I only get about 50p from these videos as it is, and it goes down to like 30p if I use the C word. But anyway, so they're called the See You Next Tuesday Awards. There'll be loads of categories like most punchable face, most corrupt Tory, most I don't know, worst loser award. There'll have to be an award for Lawrence Fox for being probably the most obnoxious Twitter troll in existence. But yeah, it got me thinking, should we do a website which is like set up? Because I did all these websites which were kind of a joke sort of take on people supporting Trump. So I had putinfortrump.com, which you can still see now if you want. It's all in Russian. It's Putin for the number 4 Trump.com. And it's all in Russian. And it's basically a love story, an erotic love story. I basically took some fan fiction that someone had written off 50 Shades of Grey, which itself was fan fiction of the Twilight series, which itself was fan fiction of the Anne Rice books, which itself was fan fiction of the original Dracula novel by Bram Stoker. It's like fan fiction inception. I took a chapter of this 50 Shades of Grey fan fiction, and I changed all the references from Christian to Vladimir, Grey to Trump, Grey to Putin, and Anastasia to Donald, and all references to Steele or whatever her surname was to Trump. So basically, it's a big erotic love story in Russian between Putin and Trump. And I just did this because I can, and so I did. I also made a website called hailthedarklord.com, which was about it's the South Florida chapter of the United Satanists for Trump. And it's all about how Trump is Satan. And every time someone put something on Facebook or Twitter where they were like, oh, I'm a Christian and I love Trump, I was like, so do the Satanists, and send them to this website. And it's all about how many people in America he's killed, which is, I think, is 270,000 now. And the fact that he is obviously Satan, he's the biblical Antichrist. I did another one called Jihadis for Trump, which had these pictures of someone had done these whimsical pictures like you get in a Sunday school book, Lady Bird Book of Jesus, and it was Trump with Jesus guiding him. So what I did was I photoshopped out Jesus's face and replaced it with that of Osama bin Laden, and then I made this website called Jihadis for Trump. So jihadis for Trump.com. You go check it out, and basically it's a reprint of an article that was originally on, I don't know, ABC, NBC, CNN or something, and about the fact that the head of the Taliban in Afghanistan said that Trump was their candidate. Trump was the person that they wanted to win the election. So in that vein, how about doing a website which is like trying to get Republican Trump voters to be so disgusted at all the cheating that's been going on, right, in the election, which there hasn't, but whatever. And so they should boycott. They should boycott the Senate election because the game's not straight, the picture's crooked, it's not fair, and basically because Trump isn't going to be president anymore, they should boycott the vote and show people and do it like legit. Pretend that it's real, and have it as Republicans for boycotting elections forever, sort of thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that now. I've just thought of it then. Okay, so I pulled you down into my mad little world there for a little moment. I go back into the messages for a moment before I go off on one. I'm about to go off on one about something, but you'll have to wait for a moment because I'm just going to say hello to people. Plum Duff, hello. Attila, will you be doing an alternative Christmas message? I didn't think of that. Could I do that? Because Channel 4 already do an alternative Christmas message, don't they? Should I do an alternative Christmas message? Yeah, I think I'll do that. Come on, that'd be great. I'll have Catherine's mum and dad. I think they're coming around for Christmas. That'd be great. I just set up in the other room and just basically go off on one. Which is what I do every night, as it is. Is someone saying that is not bolted down? Are you talking about Scousers? What? Civil liberties. So every time, I said that one. The rule of two biting in London. Do you think Trump will take the light bulbs? Yes, absolutely. You know the old story about when the Clinton administration left the White House, for George W. Bush, who arguably stole the 2000 election, they nicked all of the W's from the keyboards. Of all the typewriters and all the keyboards in the White House, they got a screwdriver and snapped out of all the W's, so they couldn't write George W. Bush. There's only one state in America that doesn't have any of the letters that appear in George W. Bush in the name of the state. What state is it? Okay, there's one to be in the messages. Have a think about that. 50 states. There's only one state where none of the letters of George W. Bush appear in the name of the state. So he was the first to get that. Okay, there's a rumor that Trump's going to hold an event to start his 2024 campaign while Biden's inauguration is happening. That's from John Barleycorn. I've heard this rumor as well. A typical Trump style, just steal someone else's, just rain on someone else's parade. So it's going to be a bit embarrassing, isn't it? But I'm very hopeful that he'll be in jail by then, so he won't actually be able to stand for president because he'll be in jail. Phil Spicer says, unfortunately, privatisation in the NHS has been happening for a while, with or without Trump. The Tories want to accelerate the process. The Lansbury Act of 2012 was the catalyst. Well, also Labour have got to take some responsibility in that because they did push for, was it public-private enterprise PPEs, was it? Or something? No, that's protective clothing. No, something like that, whatever they were called. They did go down that rule. They repealed, was it clause 28, was it? Was that the one about privatisation in the Labour manifesto? Or am I confusing it with the promotion of homosexuality in classes when I was in school, which wasn't allowed? If you went up to a teacher and said, I'm feeling a bit gay, they'd have to go, oh, well, we can't condone that because of this clause. Was that 27? I don't know. There's chapter 28, clause 27. I don't know. I get confused. It's late. It's been a long week. It's Sunday night. Come on, give me a break. Hi, Gaz and Sugarfree, says Plumduff. Oh, wow, loads of messages came along. Bad dreams. What? Thumbs up for Graham. Thumbs up for Graham. If anyone's watching this, thumbs up. Yes, please. Another day closer to Brexit. Oh, God. Yep. Oh my God, Putin and Trump are snogging from Cold War to hot loving. David's found my Putin for Trump website. It's so wrong. If you go through Google, you can press Google Translate and you get it all translated into English. But a bit of mischief. This stream keeps me sane. Okay, Plum. Thank you. I think that having this little community that we've sort of made over the last few weeks is keeping me sane as well as we inch ever closer to Brexit. I think it's becoming more and more important. So Kath and I were talking yesterday about what I'm going to do once these finish. So seriously, what I'm pretty much sold on the idea of doing a 1 p.m. show each day after James O'Brien. So 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. maybe go on a bit longer, I don't know. And it'll be the same sort of format where you all can write things and I'll respond to them. And then I was thinking of having once a week something like this, Hughes at 10, but just doing it once a week for people who are working during the day or can't, aren't having a lunch hour at 1 till 2. And then also I kind of want to do more travel stuff as well. I know Gaz would like this, Gaz Riley in Liverpool. So I was thinking of doing Hughes of the World just once a week on sort of Thursday nights or something, where it was the same sort of format as this, but about travel. So it was all travel questions and how do I get here to here and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment, but it kind of relies on getting a critical mass of Patreon supporters. But if I can do that, then I'm happy to do this every week for the foreseeable until the revolution happens. Aging Calavera. Tom Monk saying, I approved the boycott idea. Yes. Okay, good. I will make that website. I just got I got the See You Next Tuesday Awards.com. I just bought it. So that's going to go up this week. And I'm going to have loads of different categories. So I'll if anyone can think of a good URL for me to buy for, and it's pretty much got to end .com because otherwise it costs too much. .coms only cost like $9.99 or something. If you can get me, if you can think of a good URL for a website that's basically trying to get Republican voters in Georgia not to vote. So just encouraging them not to vote. So doing exactly what Cambridge Analytica did in 2016 with black and minority ethnic voters in the presidential election of 2016, which is exactly what they did. They tried to get them not to vote because they knew that they'll probably vote for Hillary Clinton. So it was better for them not to vote at all. So we need to do the same sort of thing for Georgia, but we will use Trump's messaging on the fact that all the elections are illegal, everyone's corrupt except for him, and that postal voting is a terrible idea and it's open to corruption and anyone can post a vote. Yeah, I posted personally, I don't know if anyone knows it, but I posted 6 million votes, right, from a house here in Durham for Biden. I did that. That actually happened, yeah, and they all accepted and stamped off. There was a woman. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was on Fox. It would have been on Fox. It was hilarious. I don't know if any of you watching saw this, but it was this woman, and she had phoned up Fox, and they had like done some kind of voice synthesizer on her, so she sounded like Minnie Mouse. I don't know why they did that, but this woman who sounded like Minnie Mouse told this story. I think she said that she worked in an accounting thing in Pennsylvania or somewhere, and accounting thing, God, where they count the votes. I'm not all there tonight. Anyway, she worked an accounting thing, and she said she left for half an hour. She came back, and when she came back, there was a Biden-Harris van outside the polling counting station, and they were either opening postal ballots or stuffing ballots into envelopes or something outside the counting station, and a Biden-Harris van. I mean, I love the stupidity of it. I love the idea that these mastermind criminals who have somehow got 6 million more votes to appear from nowhere for Biden would be so stupid as to turn up with a van with their name on it. Imagine turn up to rob a bank with like Bank Robbers Inc. written on the side of the van. Just what? Anyway, come on. Conduct yourself, Graham. I still have a thing to go off on one about. I'm sure Secret Service could evict a person. That's probably going to happen, Johan. I'd love to see him getting it. I'd love to see Trump getting escorted out of the White House in cuffs. It would be a beautiful thing to see. John P. Craddock says, Trump sacked 11 of 13 Defense Policy Board, hoping to get a general on his side. Cuckoo. Yeah, cloud cuckoo land. Oh, good, thanks. Just rewatched Catch-22. Oh, which one? Because there was one that was made in the 70s, and Yazarian was played by the guy who plays the granddad out of Little Miss Sunshine. Oh, I've forgotten his bloody name now. Someone's going to tell me. So, do you mean the old Catch-22 or the new Catch-22 series that was produced by George Clooney, I want to say? But Catch-22 is one of my favorite books. It is absolutely hilarious. Catch-22, Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie. Really, really, really recommend it. And probably one of the Joseph Conrad books, because they're brilliant. Really, really good. Probably Lord Jim or Nostromo or something. Really, there's some great books out there. Anyway, right, back to what we were talking about. Utah. Willie Waldo says Utah for George W. Bush with the end in a h. Ends in a h. Wally. It's not Utah. Right. Some Leave voters said that they didn't get their Brexit, then they will never vote again. Iowa. Yes. I believe there is an O in George. So not Iowa. Utah. We've had another Utah from Gaz. No, it's not Utah because that's got a H in it. This is going to be really fun. Oh, people are just saying loads of states at me now. Okay, let's do this. Alaska. No, it's got an S in it. The trouble with you trying to persuade people whose politics you don't agree with not to vote is that apparently what the bad guys have been doing. Why would it be a good thing for others to do? No, well, they wouldn't. I'm just taking the piss. It's not like anyone's going to see it. Oh, God's sake. Just having a bit of fun. I'm not American. I'm not there. But come on. If at least one person saw it and went, oh, that's it now, I'm not going to vote for Bush. Sorry, Bush. I'm not going to vote for Trump. Then, jobs are good. Sorry, it's not even Trump, is it? It's the Senate. I'm not going to vote for those Republican senators. That will give control of the Senate to the Republicans and therefore allow them to block everything that President Biden wants to do. Jan saying, Graham Hughes, where is the small table? Where is the small? Oh, it's got a Christmas tree on it. It's over there. It's got a little Christmas tree on it. Hey, it's Christmas. Not sure why, but I don't feel like Christmas this year. Oh, come on, Plum Duff. I mean, I know how you feel. But come on, we got to have a little bit of Christmas. Should I go and get the tree? Should I go and get the little tree? I'm going to get the little tree. Hang on. Come. Just wait there. There you go. Oh, it's so much better now. Look at that. I've got a little tree. This is still going to fall over, isn't it? Yeah, that's still going to fall over. You lean back there. You sit back there, Mr. Tree. Okay. Oh, this is going to end in tears. There you go. Right, if it starts tipping over, just all of you type really big letters, like just Okay, this is a bad idea. I'm going to put it on the floor. There you go. You can see the top of it. You can just see the. Hang on. I've got an idea. I'll get the little table. Just wait 1 second. Right, just wait there. It's my little table. I've got my little table, my little Trump table. Okay, so if I put that there, and then put that, come on, you, put that there. There we go. Look, it's Christmas. There you go. Yeah, plumbed off. I don't feel like Christmas this year either, but we've actually put the Christmas decorations up early this year. Normally, we don't put them up till into December, but this year we made an exception because it's been such an exceptionally shit year. We just need a little bit of joy and happiness, I think. in the household. Right. Okay. So I managed to get 2 comments there: small table and Christmas in one little visual thing. That's good. Okay. Gaz Riley, always more people watching than thumbs up. I don't get it, Gaz. I don't. If you're watching but you're not signed in, I don't think you can thumbs up. I think that's why. I'm not sure. I'm not a YouTube guru. Even though I've been using it for like 15 years, so I probably should be by now. Jim Bob. So everyone look at Jim Bob Robob's answer here. He's put Indiana. He is right. Well done, Jim Bob. You win. It is the answer to the question of which state doesn't have any of the letters of George W. Bush in it is Indiana. So good job, Jim. Plum Duff says Hughes at 10 is the best. Thank you, Plum Duff. I think so too. Do you watch The Mandalorian? Of course I watch The Mandalorian. Are you insane? It's the best thing that's happened to the Star Wars universe since 1980. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's fantastic. And spoilers, Baby Yoda's got a name. We know what Baby Yoda's name is now. Yeah. And also they're bringing in the Admiral Thrawn from the Timothy Zahn trilogy. Which was set after Return of the Jedi, but we all thought it might be a bit non-canon after the new films came out. But they're not. They're canon. And apparently Jason Isaacs, who played Malfoy's dad in Harry Potter, and he also went to King David's School down the road from me in Liverpool, because he's a Scouser. He's a secret Scouser. There's loads of secret Scousers about. You know, that posh guy on CNN, Richard Quest, who's always like, "Oh, I'm Richard Quest." Oh. Yeah, Scouser, secret Scouser. It's true. And Thingy from The Weakest Link, Anne Robinson, secret Scouser. All right. Yeah. Anyway, we like the politics, Graham. Yes. At the end of the day, it's great to have this. Jim Bob shouted, Indiana. Okay, I heard you. Jim Bob, I got it. It's Indiana. You were right. Well done. Sorry, you can't use the EU domain any longer. Well, Johan, that is where you are wrong, because I have many friends in many countries around the world, and I own projecthope.eu. And I'm not giving it up just because some gammon-faced wankers don't want us to be part of Europe, which is as ridiculous as the Central African Republic declaring it doesn't want to be part of Africa anymore. I mean, we're obviously part of Europe. We're a huge part of Europe. We've got a bit of Europe to one side of us, Ireland, and a load of Europe to the other side, the rest of Europe. And we've got a load of Europe down to the south of us, and we've got a load of Europe up to the north of us in Iceland. So yeah, everywhere you go from Britain, you'll probably hit a bit more of Europe if you leave. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not letting them stop me. All I have to do is register the registered address of my domain with one of my friends in Latvia, Estonia, France, Italy, the Republic of Ireland, Greece, I don't know, anywhere in the EU. And I won't have to worry about it. Great that you like rock music. I normally do rock gigs, really like Hendrix and stuff. Haven't been able to do much since COVID though. Yeah, Peter, like that. That's one of the things that's killed me about COVID. There's 2 of them. There's cinema, going to the cinema. Haven't been to the cinema since I went to see the Pixar movie Onward at the beginning of March. Oh my God, so long ago now. Another lifetime. And the other thing is live music. I'm a huge live music fan. Most of the bands and artists that I adore, I have seen live or made a point of seeing live at some point. So yeah, just rock and roll, man. You can't beat it. Sean Kane saying you go to Liverpool and your car will get stolen. That is a slur against my city, Sean. I will not stand for it. And I would never tell a joke like, what does a Scouse kid get for Christmas? Your bike. I'd never tell that joke. Never. Come on, you got to have a sense of humor about these things. But it's not actually true. Liverpool is actually not just one of the safest cities in the UK. It's one of the safest cities in the world. Like, just look at the stats. It's an incredibly safe city. And if me, as a sort of specky, four-eyed, nerdy kind of lunatic, can walk around that city for the best part of my life at all hours of the morning, possibly a little bit drunk, and not get into any trouble so far, touch wood, it can't be that bad, I'm sure. Tim 10 p.m. your time is the best. Is best for me. Anything else is during the business day. I can usually make it home by 5 my time. That's for Tom in America, and there you go. That's one of the reasons why Brexit is such a bad idea, because the majority of our trade, you got to call up, you got to make trades, you got to make deals, you got to buy, sell, trade, deal, trade, all that shit, right? You want to do it in your office hours, and you can do when you're dealing with Europe, because everywhere's just an hour shifted or 2 hours shifted if you're further over into the east. But everywhere else in the world, everywhere else that you're actually going to do a lot of business with, is either 5 hours shifted behind you for New York, even further than that for LA, Vancouver, and then the other countries of the Anglosphere, for the racists out there, are New Zealand and Australia. Don't even think about it. They're in such different time zones. South Africa, though, yeah, that's near enough the same as ours. But Australia, New Zealand, Japan, you got to trade with Japan. Good luck with that. Stay up all night to get on the phone and go, yeah, this is a good deal. You're half awake. You're at your laptop. You're looking at the shipping schedules. Yeah, that's great, mate. Okay, all right. I'll see you in the morning. Put the phone down. Fall asleep. And the next morning, you realize that you have just ordered 50,000 nappies when you didn't mean to order that at all. So yeah, not a great thing to have to do. Bullshit, Sean Kane. Yes, Gaz, I agree. Utter bullshit. I've not had my car robbed in Liverpool. Well, I've had my car broken into in Liverpool, but I've never had it robbed because they couldn't get past the engine immobilizer. I should explain that I've never been rich enough to have a proper engine immobilizer. What I used to do is just pop the bonnet of my Micra, Fiesta, Astra, whatever I had, and just pull the cable out from the starter motor. That usually messed them up. Chris Kopak says, sounds good, Graham. Will you lead the revolution? Yeah, why not? I was waiting for someone to ask me. I was waiting for someone to say it was okay and I had permission to lead the revolution, but no one's ever going to do that. I realized that in the last few years. They're all too busy sort of doing their own things in what was the Remain movement. And I could do a whole video series on what went wrong in the Remain movement. And I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes myself because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Most of the other people didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean, we've never been involved in like active politics before. We didn't know how anything worked. We were just making it up as we went along. The shocking thing is, though, that all these big political parties that you think are proper, boots on the ground political parties, everything's very well organized, like the Lib Dems and Labour and the Tories, they're just making it up as they go along as well. And then you find out that literally everyone's making it up as they go along. The cabinet, the prime minister, the queen, they're just making it up as they go along. Nobody knows what they're doing. And that's the terrifying reality of the modern age. We're rudderless. We're rudderless, floating through space with no one telling us what to do. And if you come up with a good idea, it's one of those things. It's like you might think that you got this great idea, but you really have to work through it to make sure that it is a good idea, because there's a good chance that it won't be a good idea. And if you haven't figured out the consequences, it could be problematic. But I think if you got your heart in the right place, it could be good. But if you don't, and you're just lying to people, it's always going to end in tragedy and suffering, which is what I wanted to come on to. But I will, even though we're coming up to the halfway mark now. So if anyone wants to like this, who's logged in, you can like it if you like. That'll be likable. But before I do that, I'm going to just go through a few more messages. He's being blamed by Johnson for doing his job as opposition leader anyway. Would he be blamed for setting the scene to rejoin after the Brexit road crash? This, I think I've missed a bit, but if you're talking about Starmer and the fact that they might have a 3-line whip to vote with Boris Johnson to enact any deal that we have with the EU, I've got to consider my words on this, because obviously it's going to piss me off if he does that. However, right, this is the problem. In any given reality, having no deal with the EU is going to be worse than having a deal with the EU, even if it's a really, really shit deal. And it will be a really, really shit deal. And I think that, I don't know, I wouldn't like to be in Keir Starmer's shoes right now. especially as someone who has fought tooth and nail against, as someone who's fought tooth and nail against Brexit. If I had been in Keir Starmer's position a year ago, I would have said, Jeremy, come on, let's go for a walk along the cliffside. As a reference to Agatha Christie when she was asked, what would be the perfect murder? And it turned out that it would be to go for a walk along the cliffside with her husband, which she does every day, and just one day pushing him off. On the grounds that the less complicated it is, and the less other people are involved, and anything has to be covered up, the more likely you are to succeed. So yeah, I might have done that. I wouldn't have done that. But the point is, Keir Starmer has to make this decision now, because enough Tory MPs from the EDL, or whatever they're called, the European Defamation League, within the Tory party, all those wingnuts like Steve Baker and that little tiny man that's been invisible for the last few. Oh my God, Mark Francois! I know where he's gone. I've got it. He's not a rapist. Everyone who thinks he's a rapist, he's obviously a hobbit, and he's found a magic ring, and it makes him invisible when he puts it on, and that's why no fucker's seen him since the 2nd of August. Oh wow, okay. I hope he takes it all the way to the Mount Doom, to the volcano, and I hope he does a little dance at the edge of the thing and loses his balance and falls in. That would be great. And his last act is trying to grab the ring in what now looks like a bit of dodgy CGI. I think we need to go back over that one, give it another render. Anyway, Starmer, should he do this? If I was in his position, I'd just give a free vote, but I would say to people, I would say to my MPs that they should. It's difficult either way. Okay, so I don't believe that they need to do it to keep on board the red wall people who voted against them. No one voted against Labour in the last election by voting Tory. No one around here did. Durham, there was the 7 constituencies in County Durham, and 4 of them have gone to the Tories. That wasn't because people who have been voting Labour all their life suddenly voted for the Tories. The stats don't back that up. What it was that people who voted Labour all their life really, really hated Jeremy Corbyn almost as much as I do, and they didn't vote. They didn't vote. The Tories only got an extra 300,000 votes. That's fuck all in the grander scheme of things. Don't forget, that's only 300,000 more votes since the election in which they didn't get a majority, in which they had to team up with the DUP in order to have a majority. Okay, so that idea is just absolute nonsense. It wasn't. The idea that the people around here were like, oh yeah, I suddenly like Margaret Thatcher now because I love the way that she, closed down all the coal mines around here and put my dad out of a job. Yeah, great, I'll vote for her. It didn't really vote for her party. It didn't really happen. What happened was people didn't vote for Labour. Labour lost 2.5 million votes, and we need to recognise that. Why did they lose so many votes? 2.5 million because they looked at the electorate, half of which voted to leave, half of which voted to remain. And instead of going after the half that voted to remain, that 50% of the population, or 48% of the population that voted to remain, they went after, under Corbyn, the 50% who voted to leave. Unfortunately, the 50% who voted to leave, nearly all of them were Tories. The ones that weren't Tories were UKIP. The ones that weren't UKIP were Brexit Party. And then you had this thin slither of Lexiteers who both voted left-wing and thought that Brexit was a good idea. Because usually people who are left-wing don't want to rip apart families. They don't want to take away people's rights. They don't want to stop people from having workers' rights. They don't want to break up trade unions. They don't want lower standards on food, on equipment that we buy, on products and services. That they want to keep those standards high, and they want Britain to prosper, and they want our neighbours to prosper. So the idea of them supporting something that is the absolute opposite of that is an anathema for most of the people on the left. And we see this when we look at the stats that show that 80% of Labour voters wanted to stay in the EU. But unfortunately, things didn't turn out that way. So now blaming saying that they have to vote with the Conservatives in order to try and win back these seats up here in the north, especially in the northeast here. It's a nonsense. What they need to do, they might have to vote with the Conservatives, but I wouldn't make it a 3-line whip. The only reason why is because if they don't, there will be no deal. And no deal is going to be infinitely worse. Infinitely worse? A bit worse. It's going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad, whatever we do, but obviously no deal will be a bit worse. So whatever crappy, shitty deal that we have where we sacrifice all of everything we've ever built in this country over the last 1,000 years for the sake of some godforsaken fucking fish that we don't even fucking well eat. We don't eat the fish that we bloody get out of our waters. We eat cod, which comes from fucking Iceland. And I don't mean the supermarket. Ugh! But yeah, so he's in an impossible situation. I wouldn't do a 3-line whip, though. I think that would be a bad idea because it will piss off people like me who wanted to remain in the EU. And it will make me less inclined to support Keir Starmer's party in the future. I think he should give a free vote, but maybe have a word with enough people, because they don't need that many, in order to defeat the ERG. Or the EDL, as I like to call them, the European Defamation League. We've got some good words here. Spatchcock is a great word. That's a kind of type of chicken. I love the word spatchcock. Scrimshanker is a great word. Yes, you're absolutely right. Only London tube station that contains a Z in the name. No Googling, from Gaz Riley. Okay, let me have a think. Belsize Park. Does that have a Z in it? Belsize Park. I'm gonna see what Gaz says on the answers. No, I live in Liverpool and someone has just robbed my car. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It wasn't me. I'm in Durham. Something to do with it. I did go see Tenet. Didn't like it. Very confusing. Terrible audio. I love your very concise review there. Tom, it's like, didn't like it, very confusing, terrible audio. It reminds me of the shortest theatre review in the London papers was it was originally one that just reviewed a play with just the word "don't." That was the whole review, and then that was beaten by someone who reviewed a play with just the word "no." Full stop. Perfect. I don't think you're going to beat that. Scout's humour is brilliant. Yes, thank you, Plumduff. Iota, would you rather be punched in the head by Mike Tyson or kicked in the jewels by Bruce Lee? Oh, God. That's one of those questions where there's no right answer, isn't it? That is like, would you rather have sex with Anne Widdecombe or with Katie Hopkins? Both things are going to fuck you up for life. Yeah, I'm not going to answer that because obviously neither. Actually, no, Bruce Lee, and I'll tell you why, because he's fucking dead, right? So he wouldn't be able to kick me. Right, there you go, I win. Yes, take that, dead person. John B. Craddock, he is fucked either way, do or don't. The best would be no deal, and he can blame them. Well, that's a good point, you know. And if he can say, well, this is what you voted for, yeah. He's in a difficult situation. I wouldn't advise. If I was an advisor to Keir Starmer, I would definitely not advise him to do a 3-line whip, because that was Corbyn's big mistake with the activation of Article 50, because it just pissed off half of the country, the half of the country that doesn't want us to leave the EU. Regret not going to the Whittle Straw Bear Festival this year. They've cancelled next year already. Oh God, that's really shit. Gaz Riley, True Graham, lived in Liverpool 57 years. Oh my God, I lost your message. Mate. Sorry. Graham for World King. I don't know about that. I don't want to be World King. There's too many things to do. I wouldn't be able to just have fun. You see these people who are like world leaders, and you see the pictures of them when they start the being the leader, and then they see the picture when they end, and they always age like 57 years in 4 years. It's not a great look. It's Bill Gaza. I'm based in London, so I was testing trying to work out all the stations. Someone else already said Belsize Park. I'm trying to see if I can see it. No, I've gone to Spatchcock, all the way to Cockfosters, ladies. Sean says, has not been the best year, so if you want to cheer yourself up, get on YouTube, look for Baby Metal, Give Me Chocolate. Okay. Conspiracy theories want someone to be in charge, even if they're bad. They just want daddy. So true, isn't it? You know, it's this thing of the degrees of obsession of Brexit aficionados and Trump obsessives. It's gone from being a fan, being a fair weather fan, to being a huge groupie, following them around, you know, wanting to know what they're doing every day, hanging off their every word, to becoming like obsessed in love, actually in love with Brexit, in love with Farage, in love with Trump. Oh my God, these people are just everything to me. They mean more to me than my family, than my friends, than my dog, than everything. Everything can go to hell so long as like this person gets to do what they like in life, and it's glorious and wonderful. And now they've gone to the next stage. They've gone to the point where they're like people who write love letters to serial killers in jail. You know the type. You know the ones who declare their undying love for serial killers. That's how far down the rabbit hole they've gone. It is just that there are some people who have just been talking about Tenet, talking about Christopher Nolan films. Inception. They're in limbo. They're in the very bottom level, a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. There's no coming back. That's it. There's no coming back. There's no happy ending. That thing's just going to spin forever at the end because you're still in limbo, mate. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. Jan said, I had to talk to my daughter last week about conspiracy theories and told her about the flat earth is mostly harmless to QAnon. Yeah, I've had a story today about a couple of Italians who set out on their boat to prove that the world was flat, and they set out with just a compass because they didn't want to use GPS because GPS was an admission that the world was round, whereas a compass is an admission. Oh shit, yeah. Anyway, they didn't get very far. Now, Fox, Boris Johnson couldn't run anywhere. It's sort of surely shuffle for an election these days. Bojo could run for US presidency in 2024. No, Niall, he can't because he's renounced his American citizenship. If he got it back, yeah, he could. He's over 35 and born in America. Dover has enough problems without having to clear up Corbyn's pureed carcass from the cliff. Sorry, Phil. Yeah, true. Well, I was thinking like somewhere where he could go and the tide was out, so then the tide would come in and like wash him away, and then it would all be cleaned up. You've got to think about these things when you're Agatha Christie. You know, when you're writing crime novels, not when you're actually going to do it, obviously, but when you're writing crime novels, you got. I mean, how messed up. One of my favorite interviews, I think it was Johnny Vaughan on The Big Breakfast, if you remember that. And he was interviewing Bret Easton Ellis, who wrote American Psycho. And he was just like dumbfounded. He went, you must be messed up to write this stuff. And Bret Easton Ellis was like, well, no, it's just my creation. He says, no, I've read it. You must be really messed up to write this stuff. And it was just one of those great interviews where obviously the interviewer just sort of just said that what was on everybody's mind. It's like, have you read this book? It is fucked. Even as a work of fiction, for someone to think of it is fucked. But yeah, anyway, so moving back on. Is Boris a USA citizen? Yes, he is. He was born in Gaz Riley said he was born in NYC. I don't know why I'm here. You guys just talk amongst yourselves. The trouble with the magic ring hypothesis is they've been a lot more likely to turn into a cross between Green Wormtongue and Gollum and throw the ring into a volcano. Or fall into a volcano with the ring. That would be good. And take Dominic Cummings with him. So NHS is to enlist sensible celebs to persuade people to have the COVID vaccine. I like that, Daffy, because you've got a bit of a typo there, but it would be really funny if celibates were like, you know, what are those people called in Canada and America that don't have sex, and they call themselves, they've got a name, it's like TERF or something, but it refers to the fact that they're non-voluntary celibate people. And they're the really sad people on the internet who are like, girls won't have sex with me, so I'm angry with all women because no one finds me attractive. And you're like, oh, well, I can't see why they can't find you attractive, mate. But yeah, if you got a bunch of them and they could all say, yeah, you know, I'm a weirdo who hangs out in the dark corners of the internet, and I think vaccines are great. Yeah, actually, no. Having said that out loud, that's a shit idea. Ignore that one. Okay, Darian says, not anymore. he could keep his US citizenship or he could pay his taxes. He chose to save his taxes. It's very true from Darian there. So Boris Johnson had dual citizenship for a very long time. But if you're an American citizen, no matter where you earn money around the world, you have to pay tax on the money that you earn. It's a bit of a shit thing about being American, along with not having Boxing Day, not having kettles, not having Kinder Surprise. No matter what Jared Benders tells you, you can't buy Kinder Eggs in America, even though he sent me a video the other day of him buying a Kinder Egg in America, but he didn't open it. He didn't open it, did you, Jared? So there's a chance that it wasn't it. Anyway, basically, there's lots of things you can't do if you're American. And yeah, one of them is work places in the world if you pay taxes. The other thing you can't do, interestingly enough, is win something without having to give the government loads of money from that win. So if you win the lottery, you've got to give the government something like 40% of your lottery win. And so when I was on SOS Island, the TV show that I won my island in America, the American contestants were less interested in winning the competition than I was, because for them it was a lot less of a prize, because being British, I'd keep all of the prize. You don't get taxed on a prize like that. Whereas in America, I think it's 40% on any prize you win. So all these people are sort of dreaming of winning the lottery. And actually, if they did win the lottery, it might not be that much, or life-changing some money where you could actually spend the rest of your life just going around the world on a cruise and never have to work again. And it's quite possibly why so many people who win the lottery end up broke a few years later. But yeah, that was an interesting fact quite interesting on QI. The quickest way to make someone who's been a lifelong Labour supporter into a Conservative is to have them win the lottery. Humans, eh? Aren't we great? Right. Gonna jump forward a few things here. Lol, Betty Biscuit. I think Mark Francois has fallen victim to John Redwood, who floated up outside his window and scratched at the glass for the entrance, because John Redwood is a vampire. He's got something of the night about him. But yeah, he's an evil man. Betty said, oh yeah, I've said that one. Chris Kovac said, I can't, oh God. Incels, that's the word I wanted. Incels, involuntarily celibate. They made that name up for themselves. Like, really? Did you do that? Yeah, you did. Okay. Phil Spicer says, not much market for Gurund in the UK. Shame, because it's nice. I don't know what Gurnard. Okay. Yeah, Belsize Park. I used to live there, so I'm well familiar with it. Yes, I got it right. Belsize Park. Give me another. How did you get straight away? Graham, you're a genius. Okay, here's another question for you. If you could have any single name countries in Scrabble, which you can't because it's a proper name, which country of the world, of the UN, so one of the 193 nations of the UN, single name country, so no the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, just a single name country, single word country, which would score you the highest in Scrabble? Okay, that's the question. Okay, Zombie Bruce Lee, who also has a Z. A Z. Sorry, I went all American then, didn't I? Monkfish 2, despite being quite ugly. I like whippersnapper. We're talking about random words. Whippersnapper, that's a great word, isn't it? You bloody young whippersnapper. Whoa! I like, and squashbuckling. Squashbuckling is always a great word. John Barleycorn says, abstain on the vote and point out that all Tory MPs swore an oath to support Boris the Liar's Brexit as a condition for standing in the 2019 general election. John Barleycorn, you have obviously thought about this more than I have, and that would be, yeah, that would probably be the best thing they could do. However, if they did that and no deal was the result of it, then that would be worse for the United Kingdom. And this is the thing. It's like, it will also be worse for the countries around the United Kingdom. This is the thing. So I don't want Brexit to be horrible, because I do want it to be horrible enough for people to want to rejoin the EU, but I don't want to be so horrible that my friends and family really, really suffer. And that's a very fine balancing act, because by the looks of things, whether we get a deal or not, it's going to be really, really shit. Brexit and Trump is now a cult. They have nothing on Scientology. That's absolutely right. And Widdicombe equals Doris Karloff. Niall Fox says, the big scare for Ireland, not Brexit, but the Sinn Féin might be the next government. Sugar-free, I think it would be better to have a deal no matter the political strategy for Labour. I don't understand Sinn Féin being the government of Ireland, because the whole point of Sinn Féin was about independence, was about having Ireland as an independent country, and then obviously for Northern Ireland to be part of the Republic of Ireland and for Ireland to be reunified. What are they going to push for? It's a bit like the SNP in Scotland. If they get independence, then isn't that their death knell? Because they protect. They're essentially a one policy party. I know they're in charge in the Scottish Parliament, and I know they're going to get more seats in the Scottish Parliament in the elections coming up in 2021. And I know they've got their own policies on education, healthcare, all that kind of stuff. I get that, but their main driving thing is Scottish independence. So if they get Scottish independence, it's like the ANC in South Africa. We're 25 years, 26 years on now from the end of apartheid in South Africa, and the ANC is still the biggest party in South Africa. And what I think needs to happen, because people vote for it, because that's the party that got independence, or effectively independence, so freedom for people who lived in South Africa. And I think that the SNP, if it does win, it needs to split in two, so that voters are given an option. Because if Scotland becomes an independent country, what's the SNP going to do? It's not. It's still called the Scottish National Party. I don't know. I find it difficult because Labour and the Lib Dems and the Tories are all effectively dead in Scotland, dead in the water. So I can't see a resurgence of any of those parties. Well, maybe there will be. But yeah, with the SNP taking up over 50% of the votes, I don't want one party being in charge for the next 50 years, because that they always run out of ideas. Look at the Labour government of 97 to 2010. They ran out of ideas about halfway through. They really did, and they didn't do very much in the last few years of the Labour administration, because they'd done all their big ideas. They brought in all the things that they wanted to bring in the first few years, and they won the third election. They were like, okay, just going to manage the country a bit, and there was nothing revolutionary. There was nothing. None of it was revolutionary, really. But there was nothing new. And this is the thing with politics. There needs to be a bit of a push-pull. But the important thing to me is the Overton window, the bit that we find acceptable in politics, or the standard middle ground of politics, has moved so far to the right at the moment. It's scary, and I want that moved back. I want that pulled back. And the way to do that is by being in the middle. It's not by being ultra left wing, because then otherwise you have a very right wing government like we have at the moment. It swings across to a very left wing government, and that's not good for anyone because it's quite disruptive. Flat Earth. What is this? 13th century? No joke. The Flat Earth Society used to boast that it had members from all four corners of the globe. I know it's bad when I agree with Heseltine and Ken Clark. Yeah. That's the horrible thing. If the ghost of Margaret Thatcher was brought back in a seance and you told her that Boris Johnson, who's a little shit, was getting rid of her single market that she basically pushed for massively, she'd be a bit pissed off about that, I think. Right. Oh God, we're back to incels. Rapscallion is a great word, and scallywag. Scallywag's good. Rapscallion. There's a character in The Secret of Monkey Island 2 called Rapscallion who lives in a coffin, I think. Zimbabwe. No, Alexander Campbell. It's not Zimbabwe. The answer to the question of what country, what one-word country would get the most points in Scrabble, it's not Zimbabwe. I really hate Ian Duncan Smith. Yes, I hate him too. I also hate the fact that he changed his middle name is Duncan. It's not like his surname is Duncan Smith, like his double-barrel name. His middle name is Duncan, and I think he changed his first name. I don't know, but he's just a weirdo, and he pretends that he's posh to be in with all the cracker wankers in the Tory party, but he's not actually posh. He's just he's a tourist. Alex Morrison says the other way to turn someone into a Tory voter is to move from a working class area like Drum Chapel to a middle class area like Bursden in Glasgow. Yeah, that works as well. Daffyd wins. Daffyd said Mozambique. It's Mozambique. The Scrabble question, the answer, the correct answer is Mozambique. It will get you the most points in Scrabble because it's got a Z and a Q in it, and it's quite a long word anyway. So well done, Daffyd. You win my eternal gratitude. There you go. Would be nice if things were good enough after Brexit that people didn't want to vote to go back, but I fear that will not be the case, so win-win. Donald Cowie, do you think the ERG chair really running the government from the back seat? I don't like any of them, really don't. No. After India, it'd be natural for a range of parties to form. Betty Biscuit, I hope so. That's I was trying to get at. I hate both Ian and Duncan Smith. Says Alistair. I know how you feel. Oh God, what's this? Smack the like button. There you go. Okay, this is a message from Darian, and he's shouting here. He says, "Smack the like button like Stormy Daniels smacked Donald Trump with a rolled up copy of Forbes." Please smack the like button. Okay, so I'm now got 5 minutes. I've got 5 minutes left, and I haven't even got to the point that I was actually wanted to talk about tonight, which is the story in The Guardian today, the Guardian newspaper, about the fact that there's going to be loads of UK citizens, British citizens with British passports who have dual nationality or settled status in other EU countries. So in Italy, in Greece, in France, in Spain, in Portugal, right? They're living in these countries and they have a foreign, they have a spouse who is from that country. Okay, so they've married an Italian, they've married a German, they've married a Belgian, they've married a Dane or a Swede. Okay, so after the 29th of March, 2022, if they want to come back to the UK with their European spouse has to be earning £18,600 a year. And I used to have an Australian girlfriend, and one of the reasons why we split up, there were others, I don't want to make out that this is the only one, but one of the main reasons we split up was if I wanted to live in Australia, I had to have X amount of money in order to live in Australia. And if I wanted her to live in the UK with me, I had to be earning $18,600 a year. It didn't matter how much that she was earning. She could be some amazing scientist, PhD, doctor, forensics, earning Brewsters. That didn't matter. What mattered was how much I was earning. And if I wasn't earning enough, she couldn't live with me in the United Kingdom, even if we had children together. And this tripped up, this has tripped up many of my friends. I have a friend from Warrington who fought in the, well, he didn't fight, he was in the army. And he was an engineer, so he didn't like shoot people, he just built things. And he was in the Falkland Islands. He fell in love with a girl from Chile who was working over there. They got married. And they traveled around the world together. They stayed on my island. We got mates of mine. And he came back to the UK a few years ago to do a job. Sorry, he was in the Navy, not the Army. He was in the Navy to do a contract job, which he got through his Navy contacts. And it was a 1-year contract. And he turned up at Heathrow Airport with his wife of 5 years, right? This is a British citizen with his wife, and he had this contract. And he said, "I'm going to be working here. This is how much I'm earning." And they said, "No, it's a contract job." He's like, "Yeah, but it's over the threshold." They're like, "Yeah, but it's a contract job. You need to be salaried forever in order for your wife to live in the UK with you." And he had no choice at the time. So what he ended up doing is spending a whole year away from his wife. And this is what's going to happen because of Brexit. You're going to have couples now across Europe where one of them has to go back to the UK because they have to look after their elderly family member who's ill or dying, whatever, and their spouse will not be able to join them. Their children will not be able to join them. These are British citizens who are going to be denied conjugal visits. Let's call it that. Conjugal visits so again, like what we want to do with the children, child refugees. We want to put them on a fucking island in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to treat them worse than we treat pedophiles, convicted pedophiles. We're going to do the same thing to the people who are currently living in the EU, who have spent the last 40 years living in the EU and before then the EC with their life partner. And we are going to deny them the right to ever come home and stay with their life partner here in the UK. We are going to treat them worse. We're going to split those families up. They're going to be Skype families. We're going to treat them worse than we treat convicted pedophiles. And if that doesn't fuck you off, I don't know what will. I really don't know what will. But Merry Christmas, everyone. Isn't this Brexit thing a great idea? It's great, isn't it, Mr. Christmas Tree? Yes, I really like this Brexit idea because I'm a fucking tree. I'm an idiot. I'm made of wood. Anyway, that's what trees sound like. Okay, I'm just going to skip down to the end because everyone answered my questions. I said Mozambique first. Oh, sorry, Christopher. I missed Christopher Milne. He said it first. But I'm going to have to wrap it up now. Gaz is saying I might have applied for an Irish passport. If you're Scouse, you're half Irish anyway. Half Irish, half Welsh. Come on. Ibra1 says that would be a brilliant sketch of spitting image, the ghost of Thatcher and Boris Johnson. Actually, yeah. Let's get spitting image on the phone. Quick, do the sketch. It'd be really funny. They're taking the piss. My daughter's half German and my nieces and nephews are either French or half Italian, as I'm definitely, yeah. Plum Duff said, so true, sugar-free. People vote. Why do people vote for them? I despair. I don't know. Peter's saying, good morning. Good morning. Alex Morgan saying, you know what, this Brexit just fucking shit show. Day by day, you learn more and more stuff about this shit show. It is just a show of shit. Like I say, it's like one of those babushka dolls, like a Russian doll of shit. And every time you open a layer, there's another layer of shit inside the shit. And you just keep going until you get to the very end. And it's just an infinite loop of shit. Betty Boop says, oops, divorce. Not definitely. I'm the only member of my family who doesn't hold an alternative EU passport. Betty, yeah, it is just an absolute disgrace the way that our government has taken away the rights of 66.6 million people in this country. They have taken their rights away. And even the people who have dual nationality and they have a passport for somewhere else, they've taken away their rights as well. So you can't even say, well, they live in another country. They're fine. They can't come back to look after their sick and dying relatives because of fucking Brexit. And yeah, so I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here until whenever, just mouthing off about this because it's really, really cathartic for me just to be able to shout at a camera and read the responses and go, this is fucking crazy, and actually have people agree with me in real time. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to have to call it a night. So I will see you tomorrow, bright and early at 10 a.m. No, 10 p.m. That's the one. Bright and early at 10 p.m. for the Hughes at 10. And until then, I will just say thank you for joining me. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.